Morning guys. Okay, so going to work on a few simple videos. You can see got my 2019 SHERCO 300 here. So there we got another one. So yeah, we're going to go through a couple things. Got my appy right there, busy fixing and tightening as we go along. But yeah, this is going to be just some simple videos, help you out with some simple things that everybody should know, and if they don't know, going to help them out. So, boy. So our next tip for you, something very easy you can do at home. Takes a couple tools, depending on obviously which bike you have. What we're going to look at today is looking at positioning your rear brake lever and how to actually correctly adjust your rear brake lever. So this is where all the action is going to happen, guys. We've got two adjusters here. We've got our bolt on the bottom. We've got our bolt and pin going through into the actual reservoir. Okay, so how do we do this? For starters, we got to make sure where we're going to leave our lever. Okay, now you got to think about this. You got to think about it while you're riding. You're going to have your boot obviously on your pegs, and you're going to have a considerable amount of sole on your boot. You know, it is difficult to feel this tip all the time. What we see a lot of times, or what happens very often, is guys end up burning out their back brakes because they end up riding their back brake and they don't even know it. The tip of their boot is constantly touching the brake, constantly touching while you're riding, and if you do not have this setup correct, you'll be constantly engaging your back brake. Okay, now the way to do this is very simple. You take your brake and you're literally gonna push your brake down until you feel this pin hitting inside the reservoir. Okay, you need some free play here. Okay, in this instance I've adjusted the free play already where we do not have much. Okay, from here where it is sitting standard to there, that's the only free play that I have. That is not really a great amount of free play. As I said, while you're riding, if this lever is adjusted too high, you will constantly be touching that with your boot and you'll be constantly engaging. Okay, now this amount of free play will differ, you know, size of your feet, your boots, the riding position, your style, whether you're sitting or standing. You know, we like to always encourage standing. So if you look at this, you're going to see my peg and my actual stepping plate are quite well aligned with each other. So that will promote a standing position because I will then have a flat foot. If we sit too much, or if somebody who's sitting a lot, they're going to have this a little bit higher because their foot is going to be at a different angle. Okay, now you want to promote standing. So we want to have our lever very much level, right? As you can see that, but we still need to do some adjustments, and that's the tricky part. So we've got to use the bottom adjuster here. This bottom nut, this nut and bolt is actually going to, as you screw that in, this is going to adjust the level of your lever higher or lower. Okay, whereas this pin that goes into your reservoir is going to adjust that free play. Now remember, you need a certain amount of free play. Too much free play and you're just going to be going down the whole time until the brakes actually lock. Not enough free play, and the whole time that you're just touching the brake without even knowing it, your brakes are going to be engaging. So this is the fine line that we need to look between. Okay, so different bikes are going to have a different setup at the back here. There's what the SHERCO setup looks like. So I've already cracked this little nut over here, this bolt. Sorry, that nut. That is going to be obviously like a lock nut. Okay, we're going to use this to adjust. Now, if you watch the lever, as I'm adjusting, you're going to see the lever is going to actually rise. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, there you go. See, the lever is actually rising. Now, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm lifting my lever just to show you how this works. When I lift my lever, it actually is going to create even more free play with that pin. So right now I have way too much, and also it's a little bit out where my lever is now too high for a standing position. Okay, so we're going to go back down. As we go down, you can see that lever drop. Okay, so we're dropping the lever, the actual brake itself, you're dropping it. Okay, let's see where I am. I'm actually a little bit low here, and what I've actually done is I've taken all my play out completely, where each time I touch this lever, I'm engaging my rear brake. Okay, so we're going to have to come back with that slightly, a little bit. And now once again have some free play. I actually have too much, so now we're going to look at adjusting. Okay guys, adjusting this pin is pretty easy actually. What's inside here is you've got, once again, you've got a little lock nut here, and then, okay, that's a 10mm, so we crack that, give it some space, and right there you can see that's where you're going to get your 8mm on, okay? But you can actually do this by hand, and what's going up into here is a pin going up into your reservoir. So what we need to do here again is we need to adjust the free play. So with too much free play here, I need to actually adjust and turn this up. Okay, there we go, turning it up and up, testing constantly. That's not enough, we're going to bring it back down very slightly, testing it again, down slightly, testing it again. Okay, I'm now happy with the amount of free play that I have between there. So here's where my brake is sitting static, and that's where it's engaging. I'm happy with that amount. Okay, once we're done with that, we're going to tighten back up all of our little lock nuts. Okay, tighten that one up, and tighten that one up. Now you want to use two hands to do this, so I can't show you right now, but what you want to do is, if you want your settings to stay exactly where they are, you're going to get your 10mm on the bottom, you're going to get your 8mm on the top, and you're going to tighten just that bottom so that this stays exactly where it is. You're going to do the same thing at the back. Okay, that's it guys. Adjusted our rear lever, we have it still sitting nice and level. I'm happy with the amount of free play that I now have. Everything is tightened back up. We got our two little lock nuts tightened back up. Okay, now what you do with this is you get it off the stand and you go and take it for a ride and see the positioning yourself. You got to feel it while you're riding. If you feel like you're having to push your rear brake way too far down for it to actually bind and lock, you're going to come back to the drawing board and you're either going to adjust your pin further up so that it hits sooner, or you're going to adjust the brake itself. Obviously I'd recommend doing the pin, but make sure you keep a nice level of free play. That's it, done and dusted.